But yes, a huge gold medal to all the schools out there. Hi, Tom.
Drove my Chevy to the levee, about the levee. Them good old boys drinking whiskey and rye. Oh my! Hi, sorry about that. My God, sorry. I was just playing the guitar there. Sorry about that.
Don't be worried. You left me hanging for hours.
I was pressing the button, and anyway, I'm going to straighten my camera.
So yeah, have a little. Actually, I'm going to do the same. You can do a little.
A bit more
your end.
Great.
And I'm going to put the volume up too, so I can't hear you.
Wonderful.
Right. So you all settled and sorted.
Better?
Fantastic. Tom, I did a little intro, but Tom Rogerson from Cottesmore, thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's been a pretty hectic day, so thank you for squeezing us in.
Well, I've locked the door, so nobody can come in.
Excellent. So I've got you all to myself. That's perfect. How has life been over the last few weeks? I was just saying what weird times we're living through. Do you think the children have acclimatised well to being back at school?
I think they have been absolutely astounding. I think that there are a couple of differences. Obviously, with bubbles, it's very strange that they're not communicating between bubbles or year groups. I think that's quite weird. The bottom 2 years are together, so they're bonding really, really beautifully. So that's great. I didn't really notice that. I didn't really sort of realise it until I talked to my niece, who's at Cottesmore. I said, so, you know, how's it going? And do you know Freddie, who's in the years below? And she said, I have no idea who that is. I think she'd heard his name, but that is so un-Cottesmore. Yeah. It's really not that sort of place. We all know each other. And so that was quite an opener for me. So this half term, I'm really going to think about how to create, how to make sure the seniors know the juniors and vice versa. I think we're going to do, and we have been doing it already actually, we're going on our team's assemblies, or we call it chapelin, we're going to be doing these, introducing a form a day. So they have to speak about themselves and say, I like, you know, fishing, or I like ice skating, whatever it is, and introduce themselves.
That sounds great.
We're thinking of that. So any ideas you have, Antonia, about how to make it much more Cottesmore-like, and a bit of more of a community again, then I'll be very grateful. You're a very creative person, so you'll probably come up with
we'll have a thing. And I imagine you've got lots of siblings, and I mean, it's a very much a family school, isn't it? So I guess, as you say, that it's very unusual for there not to be more of a cross-contamination of year groups. Yeah.
No, that is absolutely it. Obviously, the siblings, they're quite relieved, some of them.
Yes, exactly. They've got a bit of life relief.
No, in all seriousness, you're absolutely right. It is a very much a family situation. But they can see each other. They you know, socially distanced, but they can't sort of clamber all over each other and give themselves piggybacks and do all that sort of stuff. So it is they are doing astoundingly well. I'm just bowled over. And now it's raining, of course, it's a slightly different paradigm, and we've got to find, you know, different things for them to do. Sure. But yeah, they've been doing very well.
I'm delighted. So, Tom, just going back a little, what or who inspired you to get involved in the mad world of education? When did you decide that you wanted to become a teacher and then a headmaster?
So, it's a very simple answer, and there's lots of different answers to that. It's a really difficult question to answer, but there is a very simple answer, and that's my grandfather was a headmaster, and my father was a headmaster as well. And they looked like they were having a brilliant time, and they did it so with such style and seemingly effortlessly that it was a no-brainer for me. And I thought it was very glamorous and stylish. I'm not sure if I still think it's glamorous and stylish, but I certainly am trying to make it, trying to really get the most out of it.
I think you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, that's why I became a teacher and headmaster, because they were pretty cool people, and I followed in their footsteps.
Absolutely. And would you say there was a typical Cottesmore girl and or boy, or do you think it's is it a one size fits all, or is it or do you think any child that you take on, you can get involved in all the activities?
Well, I've literally just before we started this, I've literally just read a post from a consultant. We have one or two consultants that we work with. And she said that, isn't it great that there are two boys, two brothers. One of them has some learning difficulties, very talented boy, but has learning difficulties. And the other one is seemingly finding things very easy and finds everything a breeze, very academic, you know. And she says, she celebrates of Cottesmore that both, this is literally about 6 minutes ago before you called me up just now, that the Cottesmore has created a bespoke, almost bespoke program for both of them in their, with who they, for who they are.
Sure.
And so that, I think that might answer your question. People, the one thing that has to be right is that the children have to be willing to throw themselves in.
Sure.
That's it. That's the common denominator. You have to be willing to reach out and to reach out to the school or to the activity or to the friends or to the teaching team. And then the school will reach back. Obviously, the facilities are extraordinary. The number of things that are going on, just ridiculous number of activities.
Yeah, remind me. Is it full boarding or is there a flexibility?
Yeah, no. Our calling card is boarding. That's our thing, and that's a really key part of of the message and Cottesmore life. Yeah. In 2019, we won Boarding School of the Year Times Educational Supplement, but that was against schools like Wellington and Cranley and Eton. They're all there at the ceremony, and that was against all the big guns, all the big boys. So that really cemented the idea, hopefully, to everybody that boarding is the key factor at Cottesmore.
And I'm going to be really kind now, so you owe me one. But I think you just won a prize quite recently that I'm going to let you have a quick shout out about.
I'm just going to lean to the right. I don't know.
I can see it.
I was just doing that, but I'm just kind of doing that now. And that's a shiny trophy to one of your competitors, but given by one of your competitors. And here that is. And
well, give us a quick look.
I did something for thing. Look at that. I don't know if you can see. Look at that. It's really clear.
There it is. It's just stumbled into the picture.
It's just, I was just polishing it and it just happened to be there.
Well, it's fantastic. And in this wonderful educational sector, we're all great friends and we will champion other people's accolades. So
there's cross-pollination in that world.
Exactly. That sounds
lots
good.
of people jumping ship for wonderful other places and lots of magazines and things and school notes here
right, that's
and
enough
everywhere. So yes, you're absolutely right. But that was we won Prep School of the Year, Tatler Prep School of the Year, as you well know. But thanks for the segue. Absolutely
fine. Tom, do you have a life motto? Do you have a mantra that is in the back of your mind?
So the answer to that is yes, absolutely, I do. And for a while, it was my password on my computer, but I can tell you that now because it's not anymore, and I don't have it on any passwords on my computer.
Right.
It's a bit of a plain adage, and there are people who use it all over the world. It's onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
You can say that about anything, but if you really think about it, and if you really adopt it, it's such a relieving thing to think. Really is such a relief. You just go, right. Let's do this. Let's go onwards and upwards. Yeah. So that's that. That thing happened. Let's just remember that wonderful thing or not wonderful thing. And now we're going onwards and upwards. And do come with us or not. Your choice. Let's go onwards and upwards. That's
I love that.
Key
I
phrase.
think that's very cool and very positive. So it's a good one. That one.
And the other one is sort of the same. But it's the school motto, and it's really important. And it's I don't know if I'm going to talk about it later on, but it's be kind, work hard, have fun. 3 things: be kind, work hard, have fun. The first one is be kind, and that's it's when you're busy and you're flowing and you're in the moment, and the thing happened and the other thing happened, and you've got to remember to be kind. And it's you almost got to have it written above the computer or whatever. We've all got to remember to be kind, and obviously it's not hard to remember to work hard as a headmaster of a boarding prep school, but have fun as well. That is unbelievably important, bringing fun back into education, bringing fun into our own lives. So that's also a thing.
But also, it's very infectious, isn't it? I think if you're having fun, it's quite difficult for people around you not to have fun with you. And actually
Absolutely.
expanding to staff from children, parents, and the whole ethos of family life at prep school, that's a pretty good place to start.
It's absolutely correct. And any boarding prep school headmaster knows, or headmistress knows, that you know who needs your love and attention and help and time at the time. You go and find them, and you go and do something fun. At the beginning of this term, I spent 3 weeks banging paddle boards on the top of my car and driving down to the lake with the paddles and the paddling boards, and making sure that everybody who I knew needed to have that moment was there. It was like running around, come on, we're going paddleboarding. Not too many, because we can't have too many health and safety. No. But all the people who need to, who need to be there, come on. So it's absolutely right. And you can make fun happen. Yeah. You don't have to wait for fun to plop onto your lap. You make the fun happen. You
go out and grab it. Absolutely. Tom, what have been one of the main challenges? I mean, it has been a weird time, particularly, I think, for heads over the last few months. What would you say has been your greatest challenge?
Well, during lockdown, is that right?
Yes, yeah. Or indeed, bringing everyone back to school, either or.
Yeah, I think it was really hard reading people's emotional state in this medium.
Sure.
I think we're so conditioned to making everything look great on these things, on these cameras, that, I think that's people's usual default, is to, get their hair looking, as you can see, my hair is looking very, very...
Really smart. Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really and, getting your tie up and everything's perfect. The flowers are there. Cottesmore School is there. Everything's set up, perfect. Everything's great. Yeah. And that's how we... So that's our default. Everything's great, everything's fine on a camera. And I found it really hard to figure out people's mental state. And so that took a lot of getting used. Called me. I found it really difficult. So we had, no worries. You're delaying. I think I'm seeing you a few seconds back.
I'm sorry. I'll try and be, I'll sit still.
No worries. So I don't know how I can switch off my phone and be
don't
on.
Don't worry. You only clicked off for a little bit.
Oh, you're back again. You're back in the.
I'm back. Good. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Although,
so that was really hard, and I think you probably found it. You must have found it with school notices, trying to have meetings with people. Are they okay? Are they not okay? And the people, the children, the girls and boys, had their parents to rely on, and that's fine. But then the parents as well, were they okay? And so we set up at the beginning of this term, just before the term, we set up something called Talk It Out. And so we had a big Zoom call, and a charity called Place to Be were there. And we all talked it out. We said, we're not actually feeling brilliant about this. We're feeling really excited about this. This is a difficult thing. We haven't seen each other for 6 months. So it was a really, really great thing. And then I asked the children to book in with me personally if they were still feeling like they were having a tricky time. And children did.
Yeah, well, that's great.
I was really amazed, you put these things out there, and you think, well, are they really going to work? But actually, they really embraced it.
But also, if they learn to do that when they're little, then it's a great life lesson, isn't it? If they've learned to actually offload and to chat something through, that's huge.
Exactly.
Well done. Tom, we're going to cast you off onto a desert island now. I don't know what you're like on your own, or whether you like to have people around you, but we're going to allow you 3 luxury items. So you can take 3 items with you. What might they be?
Can I have a luxury item now? Can I have a drink of water?
Yes, you can.
Because I've been rushing around with the headmaster.
We can have a communal drink. Are
you sure?
What have you got in there?
Water.
No.
Water. We both get at the same time.
Cheers.
Cheers. The reason why is because, as you know, I've been showing around the headmaster, and it was all a bit hectic this morning.
Back to back.
The question was, what luxury items?
Luxury goods, yes.
Luxury goods would I take? Okay, so I would take a box. This is a bit of a cheat, but a box of Moleskine A3 Moleskine artist pads. They're about this well, you can't see, but they're sort of double the size of the screen.
Yeah.
Moleskin artist pads, and a supply of Pilot High Tech Point V5 black ink pens.
Quite specific. Yes.
That's one thing. Sorry about that. That's in a box.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
that's in a box.
Yeah.
And also, I would take my Martin, not my, because I can't afford that £300,000, but I would take this is a luxury item, a Martin OM45 DLX Deluxe guitar.
Okay.
I would also shove some spare strings inside the guitar to see if they got through the,
yeah,
the customs.
Yeah.
Because the top E string always goes ping, and in fact, you'll see is exactly what's happened with my guitar here. The top string's gone. And so I take extra top strings just inside the guitar. So that counts as one thing as well.
Right.
The other thing I'd take, and I think you're going to disqualify this one, but it's the chef from a restaurant called the Mimosa in the Languedoc in the south of France. I'm like, that's not a thing. That's a person. Can you not do that? Or maybe a freezer.
You're sailing quite close to the wind on all three items.
Maybe a freezer with the food, his food in it.
Right.
That's
about 10 items in total, but we're going to let you get away with it on this occasion.
Okay, thank you.
And if by chance your father hadn't been headmasters and you hadn't followed in their footsteps, what direction do you think you might have gone in professionally?
It might not come as a shock to you, Antonia, but if I wasn't a headmaster, I would have been a rock star, you see.
Right.
So I
don't know why I'm laughing. Why am I laughing?
You can see that now. I mean, just put
any excuse.
Does that
no, I think
put it in the picture a bit more.
That makes.
But this is my whole thing was I always wanted to be a rock star first, and then you'd get a bit tired of that because you have to go around the globe, and then you'd become an actor.
Okay.
Like Mick Jagger tried to become an actor.
Yeah.
You'd become an actor, and then after that got a bit tiring because obviously when you get older you need to just calm down and stop running around. You become an artist, painter.
So again, it's not one profession; it's three.
It's a suite of professions.
I think that sounds amazing. I can see you in all three.
All three. It's a progression, I think.
Yeah,
one progression.
For sure. On a slightly more sort of well, I was going to say serious, but just a sort of a debate that's been ongoing about common entrance.
Yeah.
Which is obviously the sort of entrance exam to senior schools. There's been sort of lots of chat about whether or not it's the right stage of a child's life to do that, and whether exams should define their intelligence. I'd love to hear your views on it, because it's so much of prep school is about the having fun, being kind, getting stuck in. Do you think that the exam focuses attention, or do you think it distracts?
I think it's a non-argument and a non-question, and that sounds very rude.
Well, it does a bit.
It's not meant to be rude. It is common entrance is. I've thought about this a lot, and I give huge support to the ICB, who the board who puts together common entrance, and common entrance is hugely relevant for the schools that can service its breadth. It's very wide, common entrance. It's huge. And if you can service that breadth, it is the most wonderful exam. It's an incredible exam. For people who can't, or schools who can't service that breadth, I can understand that it doesn't really suit them. If they don't have a Latin teacher, or if they can't get a Spanish teacher in, or they haven't got a coding thing, or they don't have a facility to do the thing that requires this for this exam in common entrance. I can understand that they wouldn't want to support it, but for schools who have the breadth, like Cottesmore, it is a brilliant tool. It's a fantastic tool. Okay. The other thing is, it certainly, I do not agree that it defines, any exam defines a child's intelligence. That's absolutely, I massively disagree with that. And if you had another 2 hours, I would go into it. And if you want to, seriously, if you want to, Jarell Barnes and myself and a few other people would talk to you very, very happily about it. But it's I think it's only limited by the people who are using it.
Okay.
The common entrance syllabus. It's only limited by the teachers who are teaching it, and you know, for us, it's been an amazing structure. That's the thing. It's a structure.
Yeah.
It's more than a suggestion, but it's a suggested structure, and it's a really tight, really brilliant structure, common entrance, and it's very, very strong.
Okay. Well, I might well take you up on that, because I think I think, as you say, it's a huge topic, and it'd be very interesting to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
But 2 hours might be pushing it for our audience, but I think we could condense it.
Well, I think, yeah, I do think it's such an important thing, and I think it lost its way a tiny bit, and I think senior schools, all they need to do, and they have done, is suggest ways in which it can come back and be relevant, and they have. It's been reformed. You know, there's much more extended learning pieces. You know, it's a really, really amazing tool for schools like Cottesmore that require something of great breadth and rigor for their last exam. If we didn't have it, then it would be we'd create something else almost identical.
Yeah. Frankly. Okay, very interesting. Thank you. I wonder whether you can recall a time at Cottesmore where you've had to sort of remain deadly serious about something that you actually were very amused by. Maybe it was a misdemeanor of a girl or boy that got up to a prank, and you had to be really super strict about something that actually you thought was pretty funny.
Again, this happened about, I don't know, now an hour ago. I was showing around the Headmaster of Bryanston, and there's a boy who doesn't have a social filter, and I shouldn't say that, maybe again a bit rude thing to say, so sorry to him, and sorry to you for saying it was a non-question, the common entrance question, but
no,
let's move on from that. But it's a boy, he doesn't have a filter, it's amazing, it's brilliant, and I love him dearly for it, and I bring him in at strategic moments, like for example with the Headmaster of Bryanston. And I left him because I knew this guy had no filter. And he always says things like, you know, we were celebrating our award, for example, last week sometime. And I came up to him, I was sort of doing a video thing, and how are you feeling about this? And everybody was going, yeah, it's brilliant. They were all eating cake and stuff and drinking. Everybody thought it was amazing. And he was saying, yeah, so it was fine, you know. What you know, and this is his whole piece. It's absolutely brilliant. And it makes me chuckle so much that he's got this thing. He's got no filter, but it's always down about 4 notches from everybody else. So I always bring him in to the frame because I find it very funny. Yeah,
no, absolutely.
So that's very amusing. That
he tickles you. Oh, I love that. And something that most people don't know about you. I mean, it's you know, you've got a public position. You're the figurehead of this amazing school. Is there something, a characteristic or a skill that people haven't quite figured out that you keep under wraps?
Again, you're doing the singular thing. So I've got to choose one thing. I'm not going to say one thing. I'm going to say 2 things.
Funny that.
Sorry about that. It's called value added.
Really value added. Yeah. Fantastic. We love it.
I have 26 guitars.
26?
Yeah, and what is not, that's not well known, but what is probably a bit better known is that my wife, said one thing without the other, but my wife doesn't want me to have 26 guitars. So that's two things that I have 26 guitars. My wife doesn't want me to have 26. We've got to get rid of them somehow, but I cannot choose which one to get rid of because they're all so steeped in memories and emotions. Yeah. So I don't know what to get rid of. So I just keep them all, and they just start stacking up under the bed and under the thing and in the cupboard. And they're all in the sitting room, everywhere. The other thing is that I love painting and drawing. Oh,
right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There's a great company called School Notices where you can sell old guitars and instruments very successfully within an independent school network. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've never heard of it, but I'll look it up after this chat.
Yeah.
I'll just write that down. Hang on.
Take a note. Absolutely.
Thank you
well
very
worth
much.
Looking at.
School what did you say?
School Notices.
School Notices. Thank you. Brilliant. I hope we can palm them off on somebody.
Definitely.
Of course, everybody I know what School Notices is.
Well, of course, without doubt. So you are allowed to ask. Now it's going to be 3 dinner guests. So in your case, it's going to be 6. But you are allowed to invite 3 dinner guests, dead or alive. Who are you going to ask?
You know what? I don't know.
You don't know.
Oh gosh.
I've put you on the spot.
This is a bit emotional, so I'm sorry about but my late father.
Oh.
I'd like to have him at the table.
Absolutely.
I'd also like an old Cottesmore parent called Jimmy Page.
Right.
And he is the lead guitarist of Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
That's quite a thing there.
That's a very good claim to fame.
I never felt I really got to know him properly as much as I wanted to as a parent.
Right. Okay.
So I think I'd have him around. And also a Cottesmore grandmother, the Queen of Spain.
Wow.
Yes. And so
fantastic.
I would like
Eclectic group.
her to come to my dinner party. So that's 3 people. My late father, Mark Rogerson. We have Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, and she's actually not the Queen of Spain. She's the ex-Queen of Spain.
Okay.
But that's who I'd
have. Wonderful. Sounds great. Now we really love your videos. We can't possibly end this interview without discussing the star of the show on the beginning and end of term, particularly. I've got just a personal question, which I've been very fussed about. I'd like to know how cold that lake really was. And I'm slightly fussed about the suit and the leather shoes going into the lake. Did they come back recovered, or are they lost?
So there's a secret. It's a sort of like a filming secret. It's called editing. Right. Editing. And I don't think you're going to edit this video by the sounds of our conversation before.
No chance.
So you may not know about editing. But what I did was this. I would run around the school saying end of term, whatever it was. And then I would head down to the lake that one time. Head down to the lake. I would change the jacket to a moth-eaten thing, coloured in with Sharpie, so you couldn't see it on the camera. Moth-eaten suit. Put the jacket on. Put some shoes with holes in them. So I'm a bit of a hoarder when it comes to shoes as well.
Yep.
But they got holes in the bottom, not very useful anymore, and a bit some holes around the side, not very good. But on a camera, you would know. So, and then I would look the same, and I would be there, and it would be filming, and then whoa, in you go, and there you have it.
So it's all an illusion.
No harm done.
Oh well, the practical side of me is rather relieved, I have to tell you. Tom, thank you for your time today. We're so grateful.
At all.
You've been an absolute star.
Do you have time for just one more thing I have to say?
Right. I thought there might be.
What do you want? Do you want this one? Okay. Bye, Miss American Pie. Hang on, this will be a good one. Hang on. Bye, Miss School Notices. Don't shout to the levee, but the levee was something rhyming with is.
Literally serenaded. Thank
you, Tom.
Serenading.
If you want one thing, if you want a live gig, live on Instagram, I'm free to book anytime.
Wonderful. We'll hold you to that.
That is musical concert. And also, if you want to talk about common entrance, obviously I have strong feelings about that one. So
we'll definitely come back to you on that. We'd love to. Thank you so much.
I'm here for you. I'm here for School Notices, and I'm very, very grateful that you've had me today. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure. Lovely to chat to you. See you soon.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye, Antonia.
Bye.
Bye.